Testing 1 2 3 4. Very professional, like testing 1 2 3 4. You didn't even have your mic. Testing 1 2 3 4.
I'm gonna wipe balance off your shirt.
Yeah.
Greg, ask Mr. Ask him if you look.
Councilmember Martin? And the two pastors?
And the two pastors. They come.
Okay. Yeah, Markel's here. I guess we put that on
Primarily.
I think we Markel.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey man. How you doing, man?
You?
Good. You running? Really? Yeah. You good?
Yeah.
Everybody ready? Good evening. Thank you for coming. I want to acknowledge a couple of people here that we have with us. Have the Public Safety Chair, Mr. Martin, here with us, and several community leaders. We've asked them to participate and come and listen to what we have to say concerning the contents of yesterday evening. I'm going to read a brief statement and then take a few questions I want you just to remind you again that we're in the middle of this investigation, but we thought it was important for us to provide some additional information to the media as we move forward with the investigation. At approximately 4:28 p.m. on yesterday's date, 2 officers were dispatched to 111 Martin Luther King Jr. Drive at the request of Fulton County Police Department. The officers were asked to check the area for a stolen Ford F-150 pickup truck, white in color, which was believed to be in the area. The vehicle had been reported stolen from 4336 Fulton Industrial Parkway and had been tracked to the area by the driver. Officers arrived at approximately 4:41 p.m. and began to search the area. At approximately 4:50 p.m., officers advised dispatch that they had located the vehicle matching the description of the stolen truck in the parking deck at that location. During the course of the investigation, a female later identified as Alicia Christian was observed in the vehicle and taken into custody. The female was handcuffed and placed in the rear of the patrol car. A short time later, the female produced a handgun and fired 3 shots at the officer while sitting in the front seat of the vehicle. The officers exited the vehicle, returned fire, striking the female. A total of 10 rounds were fired by the 2 officers at the time. Miss Christian was transported to Grady Hospital, where she later died from her injuries. This incident remains under investigation by our internal affairs. Those entities involved are the APD Homicide Unit, APD's Office of Professional Standards, our Fulton County District Attorney's Office, and the officers involved in this incident are Jeffrey Cook, age 53, black male, 18 years of service, as of May 7th. Omar Times, age 33, black male, has 10 months of service. The officers are scheduled to give their statements to investigators earlier next week. This is in accordance with best practices related to investigating of officers involved shooting and established by the International Association of Chiefs of Police. Updates on all of this information will be coming as we have it available. I'll take a few questions.
Chief, the question is, if she was handcuffed and in police custody, how could she get a hold of a gun and shoot?
Well, it was clear to us that the officer did not search her prior to putting her in the back of the car. Now, that's part of our internal investigation on if our policies were actually violated.
Chief, what can you tell us about the policies? What is the APD policy as it relates to a female suspect and 2 male officers?
Well, our officers at the time can pat with the back of their hands in the presence of other witnesses. However, a thorough search should be manifested prior to transport by a same-sex officer.
So do you feel like they did pat with the witnesses?
I do not believe that as of now, but that's part of our internal investigation.
When is it that you would call in a female officer to pat the person down before putting them in the patrol car?
Actually, prior to transport, according to the SOP.
Where was the gun on her person, do you know?
The gun was actually in her hand. I don't know where it was at the time when she was secured and arrested.
How did she end up in the front seat?
No, I did not say that. She was in the rear of the vehicle. If I said that, disregard that.
Okay.
She was in the rear of the patrol vehicle where she was placed.
And was her handcuffed behind her or in front of her?
She was handcuffed to the rear. However, as she exited, they removed her out of the vehicle, the handcuffs were on one wrist and then closed on the other side that was not on the other wrist.
Could you possibly demonstrate what it is that you guys are allowed to do to a female suspect? You said with the back of the hand. I'm not sure.
Just on the back, a male can actually search with the back of his hand in the presence of another witness.
Her whole up and down her whole body?
Yes.
Did they do that?
I do not know that at this time. That's part of our internal investigation.
Are you saying she was partially handcuffed? Can you go over the handcuffs with me?
She was fully handcuffed, both to the rear, at the time as they walked her down to the location and placed her in the rear of the patrol car. Some happened that she was able to remove one of her hands out of the handcuff, and ultimately shot at the officers 3 times.
Is there surveillance video of this? Is there any surveillance video?
There is.
And it will not be made public?
It will not be made public as we are continuing to investigate this as a criminal matter.
How often do people slip out of your handcuffs?
I cannot give you that. I don't know of any. I do know that this woman has a history, and she has done this before, under the arrest of the Atlanta Police Department.
Was she handcuffed before?
Yes, she has.
Was
How
she
many
firing at
times?
officers, or was she firing inside the car at the window to get out?
Oh no, she fired at the officers.
How many times has she gotten away from your handcuffs?
She was arrested on 7 occasions, and she literally got out of the handcuffs on one other occasion where there was an incident that's on our report that we can provide to you.
Do you know how she did it at that time? Was it ever made clear how she had done so?
No, it was not recorded.
Was there a bench warrant out for her
We're confirming that now.
for marijuana?
I don't know. We're confirming that. We'll get that information to you. As I said, the Atlanta Police Department had arrested her 7 times on different charges. However, she did have other charges from other states.
If you pat somebody down with your hands up and down their whole body, how would you miss a gun?
Ma'am, I wasn't there. We are still doing the investigation on that, and we have not questioned our officers. As I said, we'll do that later on next week when, according to the International Association of Police recommendation on when we should investigate and ask questions to those officers.
Is it difficult or easy to escape from handcuffs?
I would imagine that it's very, very difficult, but this woman did do that and has a history of doing that.
Is there usually a female officer like on call? Because I imagine this comes up a lot where you have a male officer arresting a female. Is there someone who's, I mean, just the time aspect? Is there someone available usually right away to get, to do the full pat?
Yes, we generally have female officers on duty. This happened so quickly, the officers, I do not believe that they had a chance enough to call for a female officer. But all of that's part of the investigation as we're looking at it internally.
This happened soon after they put her in handcuffs?
Very closely not after they put her in the handcuffs, after they put her into the rear of the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. Were they with her the whole time, or were they?
They were with her the entire time. And so what happens in our patrol vehicles, we have both rear and exterior recording devices. So they are, I know that they are the front dash cameras that was actually running at the time. The rear camera was not running because it only runs when the vehicle is in motion.
Is it surprising this would happen with an 18-year veteran?
All of that is under investigation. I'm not going to, let me just say this to you. I don't know, what's your name, please? Well, I cannot speculate on any of this. I'm just simply saying to you, we're going to investigate this, and as soon as we get the information on any policy that was violated, we will provide that to the public.
Chief, to be clear, though, it seems as though she concealed a weapon. There's no way she picked up a weapon in that police cruiser.
No, matter of fact, as the investigation continued to unfold, the weapon that she had and shot at the officers with came out of the vehicle that was stolen.
It was the truck owner's gun?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Is she suspected of stealing that vehicle or somebody else?
She was, the description of the individual given by Fulton County, she met that description.
Was she trying to steal the gun of the truck?
She was in the stolen truck.
Okay, well, was she just going after, rifle to the...
She was in a stolen truck that was stolen on Fulton Industrial Boulevard and drove it to,
Okay.
Thank you.
Chief, are your squad cars, is there protection, like bulletproof protection, to protect the officers?
Well, yes and no. There is a plexiglass shield on the rib between the arrestee and also the officers, but the round definitely can penetrate that back shield.
Did it happen this time?
Well, yes.
And do you know how the owner of that truck tracked it to the parking lot?
Had some device, the actual company that he worked for had the tracking device on the truck.
Did all 3 shots penetrate the plexiglass shield?
I don't know that. I can maybe ask Deputy Chief Tollison to come.
Yeah. 2 of those rounds did. One round actually hit a piece of metal, then went through the roof, as best we can tell right now. But but so 2 of them did, yes.
Did the plexiglass deflect the bullet enough that it may have saved the officer's lives?
No, one of them, I'm telling you, both of these officers missed killed an inch on both sides. So one hit a piece of metal right behind the officer, that's where the plexiglass is mounted into. The other went through the plexiglass out the left front windshield, and if you look online, you can see where that bullet hole went out. It's public record, you can see that. Officers, it's a miracle he's alive.
Both officers were sitting in the front seat of the patrol car with his hand?
That's correct, yes.
And the rounds that had hurt, were they fired from outside of the car or inside?
That's correct. The officers exited the vehicle after they were being shot upon and fired rounds back into the vehicle.
Through the window, through the back?
Yes.
What kind of criminal, were there serious crimes that she committed in the past, or was she ever spending time?
Did she have a record for stolen cars?
She did have a record for stolen vehicles. We had arrested her for robbery, theft by taking, auto, again, 2 counts, felony, aggravated assault, felony, obstruction, criminal damage to property in the 1st degree. Then in 2012, theft by shoplifting, possession of marijuana less than an ounce, theft by shoplifting back in 2015 of this year, and then traffic offense misdemeanor in March of this year.
Was she ever convicted of any of this? Did she ever go to prison?
I don't have that.
In a situation like this, with so many shots fired, you say that the officers within an inch of being hurt, killed, what about the public and all the rush hour bystanders that were around?
Ma'am, our officers were doing everything they can to survive active shooting situation.
Okay, last question. Any last questions?
The guy whose car the truck was stolen, he got a description of the woman?
Yes, he did.
He saw her, okay.
Yes, he did, and he was on the scene at the time of the shooting.
One last question. Because you mentioned in all of her arrests, aggravated assault. Did she have guns in the past? Were the officers aware? I mean, was she an armed suspect? Did they think so?
At the time of the incident, while they were doing the preliminary investigation, eventually you will have an opportunity to see this video. The officers simply was asking her name at the time when all of this began.
You mean when she started shooting?
That's correct.
There was a 380 Taurus that was recovered at the scene. Is that the weapon that she had?
That is, yes.
All right, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good.